Now I finished all the work on the mill too, and I'll bring you in to see and put on a stand so I have both my hands to use. In the first place I did some test drilling here to see how my rods fits with the end mill, and that's very fine, I think. And then I made a small rod like this, drilled a hole and threaded it. And here I made this with an end mill, and I was way too sophisticated because this shoulder, you don't need it. Just drill the hole or bore it with an end mill the diameter of the split cutter, nothing else. And then you put this rod with a threaded hole inside here. There's some burrs so it can't go in there, like this. Then I mounted, before this hole was drilled, I mounted it this way in the vise. This against the back jaw and this against the flexible jaw. Good and tight. And then you can see there, I think you can see it. When you plunge the end mill through here, the cutter effect is made automatically. And then you just have to cut the upper part and the lower part. And I just split them with a hacksaw. I was just too close to the thread, but it works. But you have to take care of the threads, and 0.5 millimeter between the top of the threads and the hole, I think, would be preferable. And when this is cut off and the burrs are taken away, you put it in here. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah. And then put the rods in here. What the heck is wrong? There it is. The screw was tightened too much. And I found out a lot of things by making this. In the first place, I thought I only need the bottom part of the cutter, and that's there. And the screw, and I talked about this shoulder to have something to screw the forces against, but you don't need it. You just threw the screw down in the bottom of the hole. So it works now. Maybe that's not a good solution, because in the long run I think this part will be destroyed. But the upper part of the cutter, you just make a through hole and make it so small that you can press it with a knob. Put it down there. I talked about I maybe would make a bushing. That bushing, that's the upper part with the through hole instead of the threads. And then your knob can press the two parts together. That's the whole idea. And when you take out the rod here, you can pull both the upper and the lower part and the knot out. Put them in again. That's much more simple than all this shoulder crap here. So unfortunately I didn't realize that before I had made this shoulder, but that's my experience anyway. Now I just had to find a way to make these knobs, and I'll need lots of knobs, so I'll find a method to make them. Not like this, but something like this, where I can include my bolt, because I'm not that good for threading these small threads here. So I'll find a way to make the knob so I can solder this bolt or another bolt inside the handle. So yeah, now I'll glue these inside here and make these knots, but for now I'll just use these screws here as a knob. Yeah, that's it. I'll come back when it's glued and